Hello, this is Fadi Al-Fayoumi, and today I'm making the presentation for the International Business class at the MBA program at Washington State University. This is the final presentation of the team, and it's a team effort done by myself, Fadi Al-Fayoumi, and my colleagues Jim Davis, Dina Spicer, Adam Richards, and Greg Mobular. We're talking about doing a business in Saudi Arabia. When we look at the map, Saudi Arabia is strategically positioned in the Middle East. Not only it has important political reasons as it has borders with Iran, Iraq, Yemen, other Gulf countries including Kuwait and Emirat, in addition to other geographical important countries like Egypt and Syria nowadays, but it's also important for business and trades. It's between the Red Sea, the Persian Gulf, and the Arabian Sea. When we take a look about the economy of Saudi Arabia, 16% of the world oil reserve is in Saudi Arabia. Petroleum accounts for 90% of the export earnings, and the US is the largest exporter. When we take a look at the unemployment rate, it goes between 9 to 10%, but that's gender related, 6 to 7% in males and up to 25% in females. The Saudi Arabian government is a monarchy. King Abdullah bin Abdulaziz is the current king of Saudi Arabia. He inherited the throne from his brother Fahd bin Abdulaziz, who did the same from his brother Khalid and Faisal. And eventually, Saudi Arabia has decided to come with a new rule by coming with a new committee composed of many princes from the royal family to decide who's going to be the next king after King Abdulaziz's son Abdullah, but that will still be one of the family to continue to run the country as a monarchy. The population of Saudi Arabia is 27.3 million, and the growth rate is about 1.5%. It's one of the safest countries in the world. This country law is based on ethics, not based on human rights. The ethics are being obtained from the Quran and the Sharia of Islam. You steal, you get your hand cut, you commit category 1 crime with a murder or drugs, and you get the death penalty. It is considered one of the safest areas in the Middle East and across the world with an extremely and very low crime rate because of those harsh rules for the crime. When we talk about the US and the Saudi relationship, it's a very strong diplomatic and political relationship, and recently Saudi Arabia is happy and opening the door to do business with US companies. But both countries fought communism after World War II. They are extremely engaged in the commodity prices, particularly oil and gold. And the Saudi students compose the largest international students in the US universities, and I think in 2013 and 2014 they ranked number 4 and number 3 respectively. Doing business in Saudi Arabia is going to become a unique experience, even though US companies have operated in the Middle East before in many other countries, including Emirat, especially in the city of Dubai and Abu Dhabi, in Kuwait, in Yemen, in Qatar, and other parts of Saudi Arabia like Riyadh and Jeddah. But doing business in Saudi Arabia is going to come with an extreme unique experience that paying attention to certain values will be an extreme parameter for the success of the engagement of any corporation in the culture and doing business in this country. When we talk about easiness of doing business, according to the latest statistics, out of 189 countries, Saudi Arabia is the country number 26. So with confidence, we can say it's relatively not that difficult to do business in Saudi Arabia as far as easiness of doing business when it comes to coming with constructions models, paying taxes, going through the business bureau regulations. It's not difficult to run a business in Saudi Arabia. It's difficult to get engaged in the culture and the society and to know how to communicate with those people. Once you go over that step, which might look like something minor, but coming to do business in this country is extremely important to put these parameters as a priority before running the business. And that comes with understanding their culture. Therefore, if we get to the point where we can understand the cultural values and the importance, then we are engaged. And if we don't get to that point, then we are not engaged. So what values are important to pay attention to? Well, the working days are Saturday through Wednesday, which means that Thursday and Friday are the holidays and the days off. Friday is the holy day for the people. They pray 5 times a day, every day of the week. And during those hours of the prayers, 5 times a day, all businesses are supposed to close. Malls, grocery shops, other aspects of business, you can't open doors, you can't have customers, and therefore you gotta respect these values. When it comes due to the month of Ramadan, they are fasting, and that applies only for the Muslims. But they expect you, if you're Christian, Jew, Hindu, or atheist, or different religions, that you're gonna respect those values. You can't eat or drink during fasting hours in front of people who are fasting. You gotta pay extreme attention to this very important social parameter. The pace and trust, they're not essentially very punctual about their time. They're sort of loose in their showing up to work, and a lot of that has to do with their prayer times. They gotta go and pray 5 times a day. If one of your employees come and say, I'm gonna go to pray, you can't come and tell him it's working hours. You can't do that. That's an important cultural, religious value to be respected and appreciated if they do that. So the meetings can be loosely scheduled around prayer times. When you go and discuss important parameters, you can't just get to the point and be straightforward business. You gotta go there and socialize for a few minutes, ask them about their families that they're doing well, ask them about their welfare. Then you can go and talk about the business matters, because that's how you can engage yourself in this society. It's very important. Other parameters which are also important for them is you can't compliment them in certain things that are norm in the Western society. You can't go and tell somebody, I love your Bentley and I love your Lamborghini. You can't tell somebody, I think your wife is beautiful. Those things are very intimidating in this culture. They are okay with getting into getting physically close to you when they talk to you of what's considered by the Western society a personal space. And if they serve you tea, coffee, or date, it's considered rude to reject, even though you might not feel like drinking it, but they consider it rude not to accept it, so you might want to accept at least the first round of the service. Our product is the petrochemical industry, and that's what we're trying to engage our idea to go and do international business in Saudi Arabia. Well, petrochemicals are chemical products which are derived from petroleum. Remember, 90% of the resources of the country as far as an income comes from the petroleum and the oil, because it's the largest oil reserve in the nation, in the country, in the world actually. So petrochemicals turns into useful products for our daily life, and that can be applied to different fields in our life, including health, hygiene, housing, and food. So petrochemicals can be generally divided into three groups. Olefins, which are important source of industrial and chemical plastic products. Benzamines, which are used for other products like dyes and synthetic detergents, and synthesis gas, which is used to make ammonia and methanol. And from there, different products can be manufactured and produced for different values and purposes. If we look at the petrochemical industry worldwide, between the US, Japan, they used to dominate the world as far as producers. 80% of the world petrochemicals came from the United States, Western Europe, and Japan. Well, nowadays that's expanded way beyond that, because there are so many other countries involved, including Saudi Arabia and Canada, which want to play a major role in the petrochemical industry production, not only for their self-satisfaction like some countries in Asia, including Singapore and China, but they want to actually be exporters. They want to export their products to other parts of the world. So Saudi Arabia is one important country, which again, back to the point, strategically positioned, rich, full of resources, and is willing and happy to do business with US companies as long as they understand the important values that they have to appreciate when they come and do business in this country. So if we look at the demand for the globe, it's been going up, not across all the countries and all the cities, but if you look at North America, it's going up. If you look at West Europe and the Middle East, it's going up. If you look at most parts of Asia, especially China, the demand has been going up significantly over the last couple of years, especially over the last 3 to 4 years. BP is the largest company of the world when it comes to petrochemical products, but other companies which are involved in the field that are considered major corporations involved in refineries and petrochemical plants. We're talking about Cherry Point, Hull in UK, and Geel in Belgium. So the petrochemical sector is the largest non-oil sector in Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia is the world's 11th largest petrochemical suppliers, and they account for 7 to 8% of total supply. And Saudi Arabia is investing, and that's the key here, in world petrochemical market. They want to become the dominant force. They want to expand. They are looking for a share profile of 13 to 14% and more than 20% by 2020. So this is a golden opportunity for the corporate that's going to go in there and start a new business and do it right. So the common petrochemical uses will include plastics, wind turbines, medicines, medical devices, cosmetics, furniture, appliances, computers, and solar panels. Other products can include pumps, separators, steam turbines, mixers, centrifuges, and engineering services. The petrochemical plant pumps and separators are a major area for expansion and having a products which can be useful from simple petrochemical products. These, these petrochemical pumps and separators are used to extract and move petrochemicals or various toxic, corrosive fluids, and they are capable of generating high rates of flow and pressure and are designed to prevent leaks. They're used in refining petrochemicals. Separators keep harmful chemicals out of the water, steam, and ensure environmental compliance. And therefore, we can see the potential of petrochemical plant pumps and separators and their use in the future for human lives. Same thing applies to petrochemical gas and steam turbines, which are basically used to take thermal energy and convert that into mechanical energy. And therefore, that can be used in electrical generators and other aspects of life. So the potential for the petrochemicals and their future is actually very bright. The same thing applied to petrochemical mixers and centrifuges. So the mixers are used to make compounds to exacting tolerance. Petrochemicals that need to have exact mixes under pressure or temperature can be processed at the same time. The petrochemical engineering services, in addition to the products listed above and we talked about before, the company offers a wide variety of engineering services, from training to complete factory design. The talented technical staff can also assist in operation and increase the operation efficacy, and with many different ways to interact with the staff to show them how to actually get engaged into this field. So it's not only offering the petrochemical service and the products, but it's also engagement in the services that can come along with that. When we talk about the competition, the main competitors will be other plants and other companies running in different parts of Asia, not essentially from the United States or Europe, but it's actually mainly in Asia. And that comes from India, Turkey, China, Bangladesh. The United Kingdom and Spain in Europe can actually be a major source of competition, but our major source will come from India, China, and Bangladesh, in addition to Singapore, to implant their um, competition companies in Saudi Arabia. And their services are not only by providing parts and services, they're actually horizontal integration. They also have partnership with other companies in Saudi Arabia, joint ventures, and they're actually providing inspections and proposals with consultation services to make sure that their service are efficient, complete, and the customer satisfactions, the public, and the engagement in the society is being provided. The competitive products, the petrochemical industry requires spare parts and services on a regular basis, and there is no doubt about that. So, fabricated steel products, valves, gear reducers, catalysts, and chemical additives, drives like electronic and hydraulic motors, heat exchangers, and hydraulic and pneumatic systems. All these are products being produced by the competitors. And therefore, when we look at our model, we're trying to develop a strong partnership model with a new petrochemical company, 24/7 hour service, strong supplier relationship, consulting services, engineering capabilities with electrical and mechanical supplies, keeping in mind that with our potential and our ideas, we're going there to expand the service that's already requested, engagement in a society, in a culture that we're trying to understand as much as possible, respect their value, honor that, understand the potential based on their geographical location, the money invested in the country, the culture who is welcoming the US society and the people to come from the Western society to do business with them. And with that, we are looking for an extremely successful, outstanding corporation that will become a model for the others. Thank you very much.